is it that you get from alcohol? What is the value? Usually the room goes quiet and they say, well, of course there's no value in it. Like, that's why I'm here. There's nothing I like about alcohol. I want it done from my life. But if you dig a little and you help them, you give them a little nudge, a list starts forming. You hear things like, well, it does make me feel less lonely, I suppose. Or does it help you relax when you're in crowds and social situations? Yeah, I think, it does actually, yeah. What about your sex life? Is sex easier when you're drinking versus sex sober? Yeah, it does actually help my sex life, yeah. What else is it about alcohol that you really value? Well, it gives me something to look forward to on a weekend. It makes me feel like me again. And then all of a sudden, with this great big list, Davy says, okay, so now would you press that magic button? Because if you do, you're going to lose all of that. If I gave you a magic button that would erase alcohol from your life forever if you pressed it, most people would say yes. That is, until they realize what they're losing. Because if you're still drinking, there is a payoff. Some part of you thinks it's safer to stay stuck than to let go. And until you face that truth, you're not really choosing anything. You're just reacting. Welcome to the 1000 Day Sober podcast. My name is Davy. I am not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I am someone who lives a self-led life, alcohol-free as fuck, and I spend every waking moment of that life helping other people do the same, like right now. Today's episode is a continuance of our book highlight series, where I take a quote from a book I'm reading, expand upon it a little bit, to give you an insight onto why I believe it is connected to living an alcohol-free as fuck life, self-led. Okay. And today's quote comes from Preston Smiles' book, Spiritual Millionaire, which I really, really highly recommend you go to amazon.co.uk, download it on your Kindle and start reading it because it's really good. And the quote is, what is the payoff? What are you gaining from staying where you are? And it's a brutal fucking question because on the surface, alcohol looks like your enemy, right? It ruins your health, it wrecks your sleep, it kills intimacy, it destroys confidence. And you know this, right? You don't need convincing. Most people who really, really, really struggle and strive to stop drinking, they know all the bad shit that it does, but they still can't stop. Why? Because alcohol is offering something that feels far more valuable than the pain it's causing. And that something is what we call the payoff. Now, David Burns, the Gandalf of CBT therapy, who has been on the 1000 Days Sober podcast twice, he talks about a concept called the magic button. All right, and I love it. And we use it in the Strive method. So he'll ask a client, if you could press a button, this magic button, and alcohol disappears forever, would you press it? And then they say, yeah, of course I'd press it. What do you think I'm here for, Doc? But then he counters that by asking them, well, hang on a minute. What is it that you get from alcohol? What is the value? Usually the room goes quiet and they say, well, of course there's no value in it. Like, that's why I'm here. There's nothing I like about alcohol. I want it done from my life. But if you dig a little and you help them, you give them a little nudge, a list starts forming. You hear things like, well, it does make me feel less lonely, I suppose. Or does it help you relax when you're in crowds and social situations? Yeah, I think, it does actually, yeah. What about your sex life? Is sex easier when you're drinking versus sex sober? Yeah, it does actually help my sex life, yeah. What else is it about alcohol that you really value? Well, it gives me something to look forward to on a weekend. It makes me feel like me again. And then all of a sudden, with this great big list, David Burns says, okay, so now would you press that magic button? Because if you do, you're going to lose all of that. Suddenly, if you press it, you're going to feel lonely. You're not going to be able to relax in crowds. Your sex life is not going to be any easier. You'll have nothing to look forward to again. You won't feel like you. So do you want to press that button? Are you sure? And now what happens is there's hesitation because quitting alcohol doesn't mean just losing the poison. It also means letting go of the protection it seems to offer. And here is where the real work begins. Now we're going to take a short break. I'm going to lubricate my larynx. But before we do, I want you to think about this. What do you believe alcohol is protecting you from? Not why you drink, but what does drinking give you? What's the value? Let that question land. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the 1000 Days Sober podcast. I am your host, Davy, of course. And before the break, we were exploring the uncomfortable truth that alcohol often sticks around not because of weakness, but because of safety, because it fills a gap, it covers a wound, or it stops you from feeling something you're terrified to face. So let's go into that in a little bit more detail. To break free from alcohol's grip, you have to understand the payoff. You have to stop pretending that alcohol is just a bad habit. You have to ask, what am I gaining from staying where I am? Because this is where real agency begins. And here's how you do it, right? You avoid questions like, why do I drink? Because why often keeps you in the story. Instead, change your why questions to what questions. What is the payoff? What value is alcohol providing me with? What does alcohol protect me from? And then as you answer those questions, keep asking, what else? What else? What else? This technique is from another of our guests on the 1000 Days Sober podcast, Michael Bungay-Stanier, and his book, The Coaching Habit. And it's pure gold because eventually, if you keep asking what else, you're going to hit the nerve, the truth that makes your stomach churn, that the part is afraid and the part is keeping you stuck, right? That's where you'll get to. That's where you'll uncover the truth. And that's the part that Strive really helps you face. Because when you live a self-led life, alcohol-free as fuck, you're not choosing to be fearless. You're choosing to be more aware and to build your safety from the inside out. Today's daily vow. Today, I will not drink. I will stop pretending alcohol gives me nothing. And I will get radically honest about the part of me that feels safer with it than without it. The truth is, alcohol rarely solves a problem, but it often disguises it so well that we stop looking. Pressing the magic button isn't about being strong, it's about being honest. And honesty is how we come home to self. As you walk around your part of the world today, thinking about this podcast, ask yourself these questions. What is the biggest payoff alcohol gives you? What would it cost you to let that go? And what part of you is afraid to press that magic button? Great questions for you. All right. Okay. If this episode landed, please rate and review it and send it to other strivers as always, and subscribe so you don't miss a single show. If you want to learn more about concepts like the magic button, how to put them into play and how to learn from them, how to get past the rationality and the logic of why do I still drink even though I know I shouldn't, the Strive Method is for you. Email me at thestrivemethod@gmail.com for more information. Now, today's sovereign vow. Hand on your heart, hand on your belly, big deep breath. Repeat after me. I am a striver who is alcohol-free as fuck, and I will not drink because that is not what I do, and that is not who I am. Until tomorrow, much love and strive on, everybody.